There's about 14 of us right now, in various forms, musicians in real life, and we use our instrument uploads to create rock and metal on Suno, and kind of our little bread and butter thing is we release a playlist.
You hear all the time people saying, people steal my stuff, and that's just people that just basically go into Suno and type out, and then they're worried about publishing at all, right?
I don't think it bothers me. Let me put it this way. I wasn't playing guitar for 4 years. I just stopped playing. When I got introduced to Suno, I got it back. I mean, and I started playing again. I started getting my chops back and all this stuff. So I trust them, but also it's just kind of like a love for it.
Hey everybody, it's Matt, AI DIY, the AI music guy. AIDIY.tech is the website. I do things like podcasts and community tools, and I do live streams and all that. And today I'm interviewing Devin, better known as Daywalker from the TRA, True Rock Alliance, on the Discords and all that, but I could be completely wrong in what it is, and that's what you're here for, to school us up on who you are and the projects you're involved in and what your special niche is within the AI community. Welcome, Daywalker. Devin, we'll just call you Daywalker from now on. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing? And just tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Yeah, Matt, well, thanks for having me. This is pretty exciting for me. Obviously, I've known who you are for a while, and this just feels like a great opportunity. So yeah, who's Devin Daywalker? I am a guitarist and have been for 20 plus years. I in and out of rock bands, and I even had my my time in the church worship band, and just kind of all over the place there. And now I'm an AI artist, and it's been quite the journey. And I haven't been doing it for long. I just started in March of this year, actually, and it's been such a journey and an adventure, and just having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So,
and I'll just say how we were introduced. I want to say we've been introduced by Dr. No months ago, and I've seen your song submission come through my website, and I think at the time we were talking, I was asking if you were on YouTube, and I clicked through a YouTube link and it had been removed, and then I just sort of lost track. But now we're going to have to get you up as a feature on the 5 featured artists. But one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because your Discord is one of those Discords that I just keep going, I have to get there. I have to see what that's about. And because everything that's pressing and urgent right now always takes priority, I go, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. But then we were on a meeting yesterday, and I thought, no, man, I'm going to freaking tell him now that I want to reach out. I want to talk, and you're going to tell me all about True Rock Alliance and what you're there and your community and what it's about. Because it is, from what I understand, different. Like, you guys are all musicians, and you basically my understanding is you take your stems, you put it into the community, you share those, and then you use those for people to use to do. And I'm open to understand what it is completely, but do I have the base?
yeah, you do. So that's our community server. So there's kind of two things happening at once. So the TRA, the True Rock Alliance itself, is actually an artist group. So there's about 14 of us right now, all in various forms, musicians in real life, and we use our instrument uploads to create rock and metal on Suno, and kind of our little bread and butter thing is we release a playlist probably every month and a half, give or take, of just songs we make specifically for that playlist. And so that's the TRA part of it.
Yeah. So you make your songs entirely within Suno and then you upload them, or is it your own stems that you upload to Suno to do?
Yeah. So I'll just say, like, for me personally, I'll record my electric guitar And I actually recorded in a DAW because I like to do a couple things to it first before I then upload it to Suno. And then, yeah, from there, we use the cover option using our real instrumentation to make songs. So, um, and now to answer the other side of that about the server, um, so we decided it was a couple months ago. It actually might have been last month even that we wanted to get a little more into the community instead of just hey, there's this artist group known as the TRA. You know, who are they? They kind of do their own thing or whatever. And so we started this server, and it's kind of just been evolving more and more. And so yeah, so the actual TRA artist group will upload different instruments to what we call the upload library. So they're actual Suno links of our instrument uploads, and they're we have different types. So like it could be an unlimited use, anybody could use it however many times, or it might be a single use that only one person can claim it. But then we also have fellow musicians who aren't in the TRA necessarily that'll DM me or somebody else and kind of we'll do a little vetting system, make sure they're a real musician, things like that. And so we have a few of those people actually uploading their stems to the upload library as well for others to use, which is really cool. Um,
Yeah. And that's pretty unique, actually. Is there anybody else doing? You don't have to mention it. Are you guys pretty much the only ones doing that?
I have not heard of anybody else doing that.
Yeah.
I really
So
haven't.
that's the foundation of a cool community, is if you're the only ones doing it. So
Mhm.
you hear all the time people saying people steal my stuff, people steal my stuff, and that's just people that just basically go into Suno and type out, and then they're worried about publishing at all, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have had conversations, and if you haven't, have you thought about like when people like you're doing your own stuff, you're uploading literally your stuff that you write on your own, and you're sharing it to people, and obviously the component of like you've obviously welcome or you're okay with people in the community using your stuff, but it, but what about like the Suno stuff? Like people are like, oh, people gonna if you once you upload stuff to Suno, like they're gonna use it, they're gonna train, and they're gonna sell it off. They're gonna take your stuff that you made and make billions of dollars off it. By the way, they're almost a $3 billion company now. So I don't know if that changes how you once felt before I said that, or if that changes at all. But are these conversations you guys have had, or people like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't think it bothers me so much. We have had conversations about it. I mean, I I'll just say it out front. I mean, I trust Suno in the sense of, you know, I pay for the service. They tell me the song's mine. And and the stuff we upload, I don't know. Let me put it this way. I wasn't playing guitar for, I don't know, 4 years. I just stopped playing.
Yeah.
And I lost it, I lost that desire. When I got introduced to Suno, I I got it back.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I wouldn't even be. I mean, and I started playing again. I started getting my chops back and all this stuff. So maybe it's different for other people, but I can speak for myself personally that like I mean, if I wasn't even using Suno, I wouldn't even be playing my guitar probably still.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I got kind of I trust them. But also it's just kind of like a love for it. And because I have that love for it, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't. I try not to think about that stuff so much, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, there's definitely people in the community that think about it almost exclusively. Like everybody's going to steal my stuff. Something's going to go wrong. Sooner than blah blah blah, and you can't function doing anything at all. Not even just in this space, in any space. If that's how you are, I'm afraid to go outside because if I bump against someone's car, they might sue me and I'll lose my house. It's just crazy. Obviously, in the music industry, there's legitimate concerns and stuff, but that being said, like you're a legitimate like you play guitar, you're a musician. Does anybody call you out at all for using Suno when you know how to use guitar, like any fellow musicians that like say, what the F are you doing? And AI and you're ruining everything. Anything like that?
No. I mean, anybody I've talked to, I mean, most of the musicians I know my story, so they're happy that I'm playing again. So I don't really, I don't know. I haven't really run into that problem. I guess like even friends that I've shown my stuff to, like I've had no pushback like that. They're always like, "Man, that's awesome! Like, wow, they had like their program can do that." Like it's usually just someone being impressed, um, or they just don't care. That's the
You're
other
a
side.
nice guy. They don't want to hurt your feelings. Whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like, no, I mean, as far as like, just complete pushback, no, I haven't really run into that myself.
That's super interesting to hear that. And I think when people watch this interview, it'd be interesting as well because the loudest voices you think are the voices. So we all, I mean, I don't have that impression because I get a lot of emails saying like your type of story, like I fell out of contact with music because life got in the way, or some people like I had throat cancer, I couldn't sing anymore, and it made me depressed, and now I uploaded all my tracks of me singing, and now I can put music to my own voice and I can
Wow.
keep creating those with like hundreds. I get hundreds of those types of stories. So I'm not as hung up as some people are because they hear the loud voices saying like, so you get the impression that anybody that ever played an instrument hates AI altogether.
Mm.
So I don't have that hangouts. But do you mind me asking why is it that you, I guess, stopped playing guitar? Is it just is something happened in your life, or was that just guitar sucked for a while, or
I mean, burnout.
yeah,
Like, you know, it, it's crazy because the position I am in now has a lot to do with people, right? But I got tired of trying to have a band with people.
mm,
I mean, I'll be real. Like ego in music exists everywhere. It could be in a rock band. It could be in the church worship band. Like
mm,
when it just comes to people and their creativity, and doesn't even have to be music, right? It gets tough. I mean, you look at some of the bands that have really made it, and you're like, wow, like I've watched DVDs of Metallica or whatever of them trying to get along and trying to get through an album, and sometimes it's just like, oh, I don't know if I could have put up with that,
yeah,
and obviously I couldn't.
yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah,
so it was just burnout, man. Like, and we just at once I hit that point of just like I'm putting so much into this skill and just nothing's happening. I don't know. It almost just felt useless
yeah,
for a while, and I just put it down, and it made me sad all the time because my guitar would just be sitting there, and
mm,
I'd literally look at it and be sad because it was a part of my identity. That's who I was. I was Devin, the guitar player,
yeah,
and so yeah, that's it's a huge confidence blow.
yeah,
And it's not just the identity part, but it's just also like kind of that creative outlet's gone now.
yeah.
So you have all this stuff like just pent up inside that you don't know what to do with.
Yeah, that's super interesting. It's interesting the identity part. You're making me think of like a time in my life recently where I felt that. And I've heard other people talking about it. I never experienced that. And when I stopped playing baseball a few years ago, I started playing again, but it was like I couldn't understand why I was feeling so off. And it was like I just lived for it. And then all of a sudden I just didn't want to do it anymore. The same thing, burnout, and the same thing because people around it just made it difficult and made it not enjoyable anymore to sort of do. And then I found a way to step back, not get involved in the people part of it, and just find a way to enjoy it. So that made me think of maybe like this space is good, that maybe this place is good for people who've always wanted to be in music and be seen in music and have it feel, but never had a way forward. And people will argue when they see this, like, oh, you always had a way forward. You just had to fucking not be lazy or something like that. But so, and not everybody's life is the same as everybody's life. Like, so sometimes like I interviewed, I want Meg, I think her name was, a few months ago, and she lived her whole life like being moved around like the planet, and she had a family, and then her family grew up, and then she had grandkids, and she finally got a point as a grandmother where she could start using AI, and then AI for music. Then that basically brought her into taking courses for songwriting and in song structure and all that stuff. So that was a way. So maybe this is a good way for people that have been depressed, that have never been in music, that can now be in music. I know it is for a fact. Like I'm sort of posing it as a question, but I've seen it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, everyone knows like my niche is the real musician thing, right? But it's like, no, I'm totally aware that, well, first of all, I mean, most people listen to music. I know there's some people that are like, I just never listen to music. It's like, man, okay.
How many people did you kill and bury and take the money?
It was like, surely you listen to a song at some point. But so we all have kind of music ingrained in us, and I'll venture to even say that, like, a lot of us will, when we listen to songs, we almost like play pretend a little bit. Man, what if that was me, like singing that or playing that? Or
don't ever be in the car with me, but yeah.
Well, okay.
Maybe belting out Journey.
But yeah, and so it does. It just opens a door. It opens the doors, like now you have access to it. I mean, yeah, I mean you can, like the story you just told is like maybe they just started out wondering about music, and now this Meg person is now in creating skills musically, and playing an instrument, singing. I mean, yeah, those are like skills, right? But so is lyric writing, so is poetry, and the structure of words and the way you arrange them, and that's a skill, man. And the way people prompt, like figuring out there's some prompt masters out there.
Yeah,
I don't even consider myself one of them.
No, I don't either.
But I know some people that like get deep into those prompts, and they can get the program to go
Magic.
deeper into deeper into the depths of, like we're almost like not even touching really what probably some of these programs can do. But yeah, I mean it's an amazing thing. I mean, okay, sure, I'm not a big fan of like the I'm gonna publish 7 songs a day kind of guy. I'm
but
not
either. I think I know one person that does it in a way that I would consider it legit, but
yeah. But like there are many people that are spending some very quality time making songs across these platforms, and it shows. So yeah, I don't know.
I always assume that when I'm in these conversations that it's with people that treat it as an art form, not like a factory to churn out things at a time. But I'm always sort of aware halfway through the conversation that maybe someone with a bit of curiosity that's watching me out of the blue, is the assumption is that everybody that uses AI to make music is just pushing a button and churning out 20 songs a day or something like that. But I just want people to know, like, these are conversations, like I'm having conversations with people that treat it as an art form, one or another. And some of them don't, some people don't play guitar, and some people do. And some people, the only music exposure they've had is through, Suno or Udio or Producer or 11 Labs or whatever it is. And they're finding their way through it. And just like guitar players, and just like me, when I played trumpet when I was a kid, I was in chorus, I was in marching band, and I've done things, and I was in plays and all that stuff. My first one, the first exposure to it, I was a bag of dicks. I sucked, man. Like everything I did, I didn't pick up the trumpet one day, and I was like other than maybe taps was easy to figure out because I don't have to push any buttons. But even that, you got to figure out how you use your lips and you got to strengthen your face muscles and all that stuff, and it sucks. So I think people that treat it as an art form, they're still taking time to treat, and yes, if you want to use their very first example or their second or third as your proof that AI music sucks and there's no talent, go ahead and do it. And what I'll do is I'll get the recording of you playing guitar for the very first time, and I'll say everybody that plays guitar sucks.
Yeah. What are you talking about, man? I was playing Master of Puppets behind my. No, I mean it was terrible, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So you were in the Upside Down playing Metallica.
That's right.
So
that was me. That was actually me. No.
I can see that. So go ahead. Talk about your experience. Like, what's it like to learn a craft?
Well, you mean like playing guitar?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just. I mean, hours and hours of practice. I mean, that's the main thing, right? Because people tend to quit things. They get frustrated because they're not good at it immediately, right? So I'm terrible at golf, right? Because I don't play it. Some friends took me golfing one time, and I looked like an idiot, and I never played it again. Well, that's not going to make me any better at golf, right?
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. Like I was just one of those guys. I sat there in the room anytime I was home from school, home from the job, whatever. Like first I was straight into the bedroom sitting on the guitar and just noodling for hours, and trying to play, whatever band songs, and it's a lot of work. It is. But it that hard work pays off. I mean, some people say that like, yeah, but like you kind of have the ability to hear stuff or whatever, but it's like maybe that's part of it too. Maybe we all fall into certain skill sets because we have a knack for that certain kind of area, but I don't know. I mean, it still took hours and hours to get my fingers to move how I wanted them to move, to build up calluses, to it's not you don't just sit down unless you're, I guess, some kind of like child prodigy or something.
You don't just, they all happen, but not every single person that plays in a band or plays a sport or anything else is a child prodigy. It takes hours to do. And you were making me think, this is something that I've only been thinking about recently, since I've been talking to musicians again and people, that is that idea of being in tune. Like I remember like it's a feeling that I can't describe. And I was thinking, yes, there are things that people that are going to be in AI music that are going to miss out on. And that feeling of being completely in tune with all the other instruments once you spend a little time before you start playing. And I could never explain that to anybody. Just the feeling of the sounds, even when you're getting in tune in the first bit when everybody's playing together, and that feeling that you're all together and just completely connected. It's something that's really special. And it's completely different than AI music, and you're unfortunately not going to feel that unless one day you take up a thing. Is that something that you sort of miss because you're not playing in bands? Like there's a trade-off. Like it sucked ass to work with people and try to get in bands, but you don't get to have those moments with the band members. Do you? Because I miss that. Is that something?
Yeah, those lock-in moments. Yeah. I mean, when it is a magical thing. I mean, I will say, because even when we're using AI to make music, I mean, I guess in a way I'm playing some of it, right? I'm playing like a 20-second, 30-second upload or something and putting it in there, but there's something about that 3.5, 4 minute just lock in. You got a few guys in the room together, and we're playing right there in front of each other, and
so that still happens. That's good. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and yeah, you still, I mean, you get some of that. I mean, I think that's one of the things that I don't want to call an advantage. I don't want to use the wrong word or anything like
dude,
that.
Use whatever word you want. We're pretty open. I'm trying to get a varied, opinions on stuff. So,
like for me, when I sit down and I play that riff or whatever, and then put it into Suno, like I do hear me, right? like I hear me in the song because I played that riff. And Suno obviously took it and made the rest and put the, but it's kind of cool because in a way I can kind of imagine that feeling again of like, hey, that's me playing the guitar, and then yeah, the drummer's in there now, and then there goes the vocalist, and it does kind of it gives you a little bit of it. It may not be exactly the same as what it was, but there's a little bit of a fire that you get to experience again with that. And I mean that's exactly what I was saying before. Is like it brings this fire back because I'm getting to experience, I don't know, maybe in some ways more than I ever did in a band.
Yeah.
Like I'm publishing full songs and putting them out there for, I guess now, thousands of people to hear, and it's more than I could have said when I was, jumping band to band. And so yeah, I mean, there's definitely a trade-off, but in a way, I feel like I'm in a better place now as a musician than I ever was.
Yeah, I love that.
Crazy enough.
I love that, and people similar to you that of stories that I've heard. The joy of that is you get to do exactly what you want to do, as opposed to sort of compromising. Which, I mean, it's good. Compromising stuff in bands is probably good because here and there because you get to work as a team, and the struggle probably brings out a good product. But then you never get to publish your own stuff. Is that something that you find? Because it's definitely a thing I've heard.
As far as like the struggle of having a band.
Well, the struggle of having a band, but also being able to use AI to put out exactly what you want, like your exact creations, and not having to compromise.
Oh man, well, because just like most people in bands, like I want creative control. Like I talk about maybe it was other people. It's very good chance that sometimes it was me that was the problem.
Interview one of your band members and talk about that freaking Daywalker.
Yeah. I forgot all their numbers. You won't be able to get a hold of them. No, yeah. But yeah, it's like I get to, sure, there's some finagling and working through it and trying to get the right gens and then using Studio to piece the gens together and stuff like that. But I mean, I can tell the vocalist exactly what I want him to sing. Yeah. And
not just have it be grinding on you that's what you want when you're playing guitar, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh man, and that too, the melody is the melody I want in the song, and maybe there's an unhealthy piece to that somewhere, but because like you said with the collaborations, but yeah, I mean, it's just so much fun. It's funny is like I'm a huge gamer.
Yeah.
And I still game
I
quite. I
just noticed the PlayStation in the background. I just noticed that.
Yeah. Well, that thing's collecting dust, honestly. Like I'm a PC gamer now, but and I still game quite a bit, but like I don't game as much.
Yeah.
Because like I want to work on another song. Like it's just like it's just so much fun. And
and you can do it with other people, right? And it's
you can.
You can play online games with people, but that's really toxic. Like I ran gaming plans like 25 years ago, and in some way I made some good friends, but the other way is the most horrific experience of my life.
Yeah, I have a very small group of friends that I play online with. I don't play with randos, as it were. But yeah, and I've collabed on quite a few songs with some people. It's funny, when I first started, I didn't want to collab with anybody because I was like, this is mine. Don't touch it. I started to
before.
yeah, and well, you're right. That's exactly right. And but over time, I loosened up, and then when I finally kind of opened the gates a bit, I started collabing quite a bit with people. But and it's all about it is kind of the same thing, right? Like you still need to know that the person that you're collabing with is easy to work with.
Yeah.
Because you can run into that same exact problem on AI music as you could in a real band. You try to send something over to somebody, hey, what do you think of this? And they're like, I don't know, man. Like you just I don't like what you're sending me, and And you kind of it starts bringing back some of that stuff again. You're like, okay, well, I mean, and that's okay if they don't like it. Like, let's make this song the best it can be. But I think you know what I'm saying. And
Yeah. Well, I'm
um,
aware right now of some collabs going on in the AI music space where people are struggling because there's egos and control and different ideas but the thing is, I think part of the joy of being alive and human is learning that sometimes you have to work through shit
yeah,
with other people.
well, you do. And I mean, the way I like to do it now is typically is like I'll record something on guitar and I'll just send them the upload, and I just say, go for it, write the song. Like, here's the upload. Do what you want with it. Like I mean, you're giving them a pretty big piece by giving them a real guitar upload, because that is all, just that by itself is already steering the direction of the song.
Yeah.
And so that's what I like to do, because then lets that other person just kind of shine and
I love
do
that.
their
I
part,
love the
do their
sharing
part.
aspect of it too, and I love the shit. I can't say enough nice things about the community that's around AI music, and that's a pretty unique part of it. You're not just showing your music and encouraging other people. You're literally giving something, a piece of your actual work. Let me just turn it a little bit, because man, I grew up loving rock. I think I was on Dick Button's thing yesterday. I had an interview with him, and he asked for my musical influences, and and I was really wishy-washy about it, because I do like a shit ton of different likes of music. Like my first love was probably rock and metal and stuff in the 80s, but at the
Hmm.
same time I was developing a love of like concert bands and deep brass bass stuff if I go in a concert hall, and show tunes and
Hmm.
all that stuff. And I love Motown and I love disco and all that stuff. But let me just let's have a conversation about rock, because I don't get to have this. My buddy Hedgehog lives over in the US. We don't get to hang out and listen to freaking Tesla, unplugged and all that stuff, and talk about the old times. Like, who are your influences? Because you're a rock. You basically, your rules are like, if you come here, rock band, we do rock stuff. You play guitar. Who's your influences? Like, who do you like?
Who do I like now, or who influenced me growing up?
Influence you growing up, and then let's just go through all that stuff.
Go through the timeline.
Yeah.
Uh, Man, yeah, I mean, Metallica was a big part of it,
Yeah.
truly. And um, I was big on Metallica. I really liked Tool. Kind of like two totally different rock bands there, but
Yeah.
and they're really what got me into playing. And um, it. I think I've been to two Metallica concerts in my
Ooh.
life.
Recently?
No,
No.
golly, I can. Man, I'm starting to become an old man. I have such a hard time going to concerts now. But no, so a little bit younger. I think one was in my teens and one was in my 20s or some. I don't remember. And I've been to two Tool concerts. Kind of same answer there.
Hmm.
Just wild experiences. So cool. And then later I started getting into more. I was a big Avenged Sevenfold fan for a while. Oh man, I mean I was into them in my later 20s. Like, it's like all I would listen to for a while. Um, uh, I don't know if I never actually got to go see them, and then I I I really started loving Dream Theater.
Oh,
And
yes. There we go. Now
Dream
we've got
Theater.
a connection. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Dream John Petrucci. In fact, you might see him in the background there. I just moved my chair. I
Oh.
got a I've got a signed picture of him there, which I wasn't there when he signed it, but someone gave it to me, so I hope it's real. Anyway, um, um, it's like you listen to John Petrucci and just that whole band really, and it's just it's magic, man, and it's
It's really
very.
unique. I always thought they're really unique. They're not like anything else. When I think of Led Zeppelin, I think they're not, even though everything of theirs is pretty much stolen, but somehow they're not like anything else. And I think when I hear Dream Theater, I'm going to listen to Dream Theater. Right after this interview, I'm going to put on some Dream Theater. I just go, they're so unique. Like they don't, like they can take you to a different place because no one else takes you there.
Oh man, it's that prog metal. I mean, yeah, they do. They tell stories with, and
Mm,
everybody really tells stories with their songs. But when I say tell a story, I mean take you on an adventure.
mm.
And it's just, I mean, gosh, I mean, there's so many good songs, but like, they have um, it's was it Metropolis Part Two, which is an actual like themed album, and that was amazing. I mean, there's so many separate songs like Panic Attack. I don't know if you're familiar with that song, but like just anyway. I mean, it's I could never play like John Petrucci,
Yeah.
but I definitely took some different techniques from him. I can't some of it I can't quite do anymore. I mean, I'm getting a lot of it back now, but I took some of my picking techniques from him, and like one of his I don't he doesn't really do it anymore, but he used to um, he would want people to pick every note, no matter how
Yeah.
fast you're playing, up and down, up and down. But like even if you're like every note has to be picked. You can't just like
Really.
do a hammer on, like um, and so I prescribed to that for a while, but of course, I mean, I could only play so fast.
Yeah, and also like I imagine it's similar to like I just think back things back in baseball terms because I know it really well. Like if you're a pitcher, you're not typically a really good batter because you have to pitch all the time. So I'm thinking that's a kind of skill where you would just have to do that nonstop to be good at it and to maintain it.
Yeah,
You can tell me
yeah.
if I'm totally off base on that. Feel free.
No, no, that's I mean that's true about anything. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
you
especially
use
a
it or you
particular
lose it.
skill like that, right? Like that's just it's especially hard.
Well, you have to train your muscles. I mean, you have to, you know, train the muscles, train the movement. Like it's yeah. I mean, if you don't do that for a long time, which I didn't, and it gets really hard. It was funny because like when I finally started to sit down and play again, I was like, yeah, I'll just pick up where I left off, and
Mm,
I was like, oh
yeah.
no.
You forget your brain and body move on to other things like mowing the lawn and raking leaves.
Raising my kids and
Yeah.
but yeah, and so now it's kind of like for me, I just kind of hover around the same few bands. I've become a very simple man. Um, like Dream Theater, Alter Bridge, Tremonti. I don't know if you're familiar with that
No.
band.
No,
It's
I'm gonna pull
basically
the notes from this and just start listening to some of that stuff.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, so Mark Tremonti is the lead guitarist of Creed, and then Creed actually I mean, really, they turned into Alter Bridge. So Alter Bridge is basically Creed with a different singer, Miles Kennedy, and they do a lot heavier stuff, a little bit more stuff. And then Mark Tremonti started his own solo project, and it's just called Tremonti,
Hmm.
where he plays the lead and he also does the vocals. And that's probably really my favorite. And then there's Mammoth. Are you familiar with Mammoth, which
I've heard of
is
Mammoth, but I haven't heard any Mammoth. The,
Wolfgang
the,
Van Halen?
oh, okay, yeah,
Um,
okay, yeah, I've heard of that.
so
They'll
yeah,
tell you interesting thing, right? Like the stuff, like your varied parts of metal and rock and all that stuff. I'm starting to think like that. Some of those bands you mentioned, I'm thinking that's smart rock. They're creative. They're they're different. They do stuff in a smart way. And I'm thinking that the stuff that influenced me early on, before I sort of started branching out, is what I would call dumb rock. So like you like your glam bands, like stuff that was there to put on makeup, like Poison and Motley Crue, uh, and those sort of those are the ones that sort of influenced my stuff early on. But I mentioned I talked about Skid Row, I think to Dick Buttons. And it's unfortunate to me because I thought like those band members were really talented, and then they broke up, man. I thought like Sebastian Bach is a really unique voice, and I know he wrote a lot of the songs, and Skid Row's so talented that they're still around. But, you know, they were sort of caught up in all that stuff. But that's the stuff I'm going, man, your influencers are smart rock. They were very creative, and they touched different sort of areas.
I mean, yeah, if that's what we're calling it.
That's what
I
I'm
mean,
calling it.
let's,
I've
yeah,
dubbed them Sign of the Cross. That's what it is. You're now
all right,
smart rock.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, even with like the uploads I do now, like I try to when I upload into Suno, I try to do not I wouldn't say intricate, but I try to do pretty unique sounding riffs, so that way I
Mm.
can get something really cool out of it. Like you're you're never gonna hear me just upload a 4 chord, campfire song
Mm.
to Suno because that's just not who I am. If I do, it'll be something for fun or something, But like, I'm trying to create a unique song. I'm trying to
Yeah.
create something that, I mean, I guess everything's been heard under the sun, but maybe something you haven't heard, or at least something that just sounds like, dang, like that was freaking awesome,
Yeah. And that's
and
why we all have the watch parties, so we all have an opportunity to do that. Do you have watch parties within TRA? Watch parties, by the way, is like everybody in AI music gets together for an hour or two and listens to everybody's music. Is that something you guys do, or do you just sort of contribute to other people's?
So yeah, we have like a Discord server level ones or two of them really in our VCs. So usually Friday mornings we have a what we call the jam session. Villains Among Thieves, if you've heard of him or not. He usually hosts that one, and everybody brings their rock and metal music. Because we do our server, we stick with rock, metal, and that there's a lot of subgenres within that, but we try to stay on our identity there. And then Monday nights, and this one's been pretty popular. Monday nights we have Monday Madness, and that's with Amanda Magellan, and she does an amazing job hosting those. And man, we'll get quite a few people in there, 20 to 30, whatever. And I mean, for like a Discord VC, like that's awesome, like a bunch of people just hanging out and listening to each other's rock music, and those happen weekly. So yeah, and then we'll have like special occasion ones where the TRA we release our official playlist. So we'll kind of like brag on ourselves a little bit, like, hey, come listen with us. We're gonna listen to some of our songs from the playlist, or if we're running one of our challenges, we'll do little listening sessions of those. But yeah, we
Yeah.
try to we definitely want people to feel like it's a home for them and it's a place that they get to express themselves as well. So
So I've learned something today. I didn't know people were having listen parties like just in audio sessions within Discord. Like the only ones I know of are like on YouTube and Twitch, where it's like it's a host with but it's basically radio, is what you're saying.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, in a way, it is. And sometimes, sometimes, for the most part, like on Amanda's Monday night, it's usually just she'll just keep going because she's got so many songs that get entered that she has to just keep going and playing them. And she'll say maybe something real quick after each one. Like the chat's going wild with gifs and whatever. But the Friday morning ones are somewhat a little looser, so someone might make a little comment or something. And but yeah, I guess you could call it a little more radio,
Yeah.
interactive radio or
I might
something,
jump. I might jump into one of those actually. I do like to go to the watch parties, but I wasn't aware of the. Oh, I was kind of aware of the TRO, and I actually interviewed Amanda this morning as well. So
Oh,
I might reach out to her and ask about that. I'm going to be away for the next few weeks, so listen and watch parties would be probably not too bad of an idea to get through some of the boredom around Christmas. So um,
yeah.
let me. So did you? Were you when you were in your bands? Were you in these sort of touring bands, like not necessarily all over the country? Which happy if you were, but were you in bands that sort of toured or got anything like that?
Man, I wish I could say I was. I once got offered a tour that I actually turned down.
Yeah.
And that's about as close as I got. But no, man, it was usually like I mean, literally all the pieces in place, ready to go. I mean, even started looking for places to play and all that, and then just every time something would happen,
Mm.
somebody got mad about something, and it just crumbles. And the one time that I was actually offered to do a tour, somebody wanted me to go tour actually around Canada, and do a bar tour with them. But I was like, I knew this guy, and I know he was like into some things, and I didn't necessarily want to be into those things
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah.
I knew if I went with him, like I'd be exposed to, you know, and so I guess I could say I had a chance, and I turned it down.
It's
So
probably for the best. Like I learned in business, as much as I wanted to be in business really bad, I've gotten into business with people that I regret being in business with, and it just is exhausting, and then it's exhausting to try to get out of once you're in it. So I think probably
mm,
good decision if your gut said don't do it, even though maybe you missed out on something you wanted to do in that way, you probably dodged a bullet. Most
I
likely, you got to
mean,
go with your gut.
I probably could have made some money. I mean, he. I don't remember the exact figure at the time because it's been so long, but I remember
Yeah,
thinking like, oh, like I could make a little money. But yeah, I think I'd be a different person today if
yeah,
I went.
yeah.
So
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you made that decision. I think probably for the best. Like I said, I've gotten involved in things and it's just a drag to get out of. But you must
yeah,
have some sort of story, like some crazy. I see you're playing in a bar, and something like give me something. You're playing in your church band and like some shit comes in drinking beer and throws it at the stage. Who
I
knows?
my favorite story, and there's been quite a few people that have heard this, but my favorite story actually came in the recruiting phase, and so my so at the time there was me playing lead guitar. We had another rhythm guitarist, and we had a drummer, and we didn't have a bassist at the time. But anyway, we were trying to find a
What
vocalist.
do you need one for anyway? You got your rhythm in
Yeah,
the drum, so
yeah,
whatever.
man. No, hey, bass holds it down, baby. Come
Yeah,
on.
that's right.
Um, but so we were gonna we've been meeting with different vocalists, and usually we'll like me and the drummer will meet for coffee or something because it's just like let's get a vibe check first, and then we'll try to start playing music with them and stuff. Um, and so for some reason for this one, I guess just because of the time it took place, we went to lunch. I was like, okay, that's fine. We can go to lunch with this guy, and um, so we show up. We go to this Italian restaurant, and I walk in. I was the last one to show up. I guess that was my my attitude back in the day. I'll show up last. Anyway, but no, I walk in and
Like a
um,
rock star, they
like a
say.
rock star, right?
Yes,
Like, guys, I'm already there. No,
yes.
but
Always dress for the role you want, they
that's
say.
right, and act.
Yes.
But I walk in. Everybody's kind of standing there. The people I recognize. One of them brought their wives, which was cool. And then there's kind of this guy standing in the corner, in the wait area, just like next to this big box, this big cardboard box. I was like, oh, that's weird. And they come and say like, your table's ready. Oh, okay, cool. We start going, and that guy starts walking with us. I was like, oh, okay, that's who we're meeting for lunch today. And so we go and sit down. He brings this box with him that seems like he's really carrying something in there. And I guess I was looking at the menu for a while, and I look up after a bit, and this guy has set up an entire PC at the table in this busy Italian restaurant, just people all around us, and he set up an entire computer there. And I was, at this point, I'm like, oh, what's about to happen?
Uh,
And everyone's turning and looking and staring at us, and um, we start to get talking with this guy. So the drummer had kind of warned me ahead of time, like because I think at the time we were starting to get a little desperate for vocalists, and he's like, so this guy, I think he's okay. He's pretty decent, but he's kind of like this animal activist. So like all of his songs are about animals. I was like, okay. And it's like, all right, I had that bit of information with me, and so he says like, well, guys, I thought like maybe I could just like show you some of my lyrics. We're like, oh, all right, that's fine. So he turns on his computer. He has the screen set up, so he's sitting next to the screen as if like he's doing a presentation. And you have a question?
Well, I'm just thinking. So I just want to tell the audience, this is in the historical timeline. This is the time where computers had been invented, but paper had not yet been invented.
Yeah. I had the same thought the whole time. I'm like, why couldn't you have just brought your lyrics on paper and maybe passed them out? That'd have been great. So he pulls up a song, big fat letters on the screen, and he's like, I just wanted to show you something. Okay, great. We're just sitting there, and just out of nowhere, he starts singing in the restaurant, and not quietly either, and I don't know if you've ever seen, like, there's one of the Santa Claus movies where he goes on a date and she starts singing in the middle of the restaurant. Anyway, and we're all just kind of like wide-eyed, like, what's happening? And people just around us are just staring at us, and surely enough, like, the song it's about animals, and how we need to save the animals and all this stuff, and which is great. I'm totally for that, man. Just maybe not at lunch, during a busy lunch. And and
you always make an impression. That's what they say.
God, man, and it was just, and there's many stories like that, and for some reason it was always vocalists. I don't know why. There's just always weird stories with vocalists, and like, so he didn't make the band.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, he didn't make it in. In fact, me and the drummer, like, after lunch, we went and sat in his truck for like probably 30 minutes just laughing. Like, we couldn't. It was just like, what was this even? Anyway, so those are where all my funny stories come from, is just, the people you meet, the interviews, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is funny. Like I've done interviews with for job roles and stuff like that. We're interviewing people, and like, because you basically put it out there, you don't know what you're getting, and you meet. So there's some interesting people. That's the best band story I've heard so far. That's now I'm sitting there wondering. I'm going to be wondering, what did this guy end up doing?
I know. Yeah. Like, did he make it? Is he out there?
What was the feedback? Don't bring your computer next time.
I honestly think we were all pretty political at the table. Like, I don't know if anyone had the heart at the time. Yeah. I think our drummer let him down.
Imagine, like, being let down on the spot, and you got to pack away your computer slowly.
Yeah. Look at me. Look, you pack that up right now. I don't want to hear about elephants anymore or whatever. Just
look, we're looking to go out a little bit later. I know you started unplugging your computer, but are there any clubs in the area? Maybe you could jump on Google.
Oh my gosh, man! Wow. Yeah, it's that. I think, actually, amazingly enough, I think it was after that the band actually kind of just dissipated.
I would have thought that was a binder.
We had been through so many. Like I said at the beginning, like, we were getting desperate, and it just, at that point, it was just like, is that it? Is this it? Like, if we can't find a vocalist, we can't do this. You
think there'd be more applicants because everybody thinks they can sing, right?
Well, there were a lot of applicants, and that is correct. A lot of them thought they could sing.
Is it like America's Got Talent, basically?
Yeah. You hit that X, or whichever show that is. Is it that one?
Or the X Factor. So, I almost want to be in a band just so I can interview singers now. It's particularly at Italian restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, I could sit here for hours, honestly, and just tell you
Yeah.
the crazy stuff. But like, you know, um, you get lucky though. I mean, we were lucky at the time. Like, that drummer and I, like, we were pretty tight. We played very well together. We both loved like Dream Theater and
Mm.
a couple other bands, and we really got each other, and we really connected with that other guitarist as well. It's just and that's the thing that really stinks sometimes. And I had a couple of groups that would start to work out, and you start to get that momentum.
Mm.
But then it's just like you hit this wall, and like
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
momentum just stops.
It's a bit of an insight too, because like obviously like in the era that I grew up with those glam bands and metal bands and stuff like you just want more and more and more out of them, and you just think they break up, and you just go, fuck man, like why do you have to be so selfish? I want to hear more music, you mofos. But it's a bit of
Yeah,
an insight to see how hard it is to keep it together. Like you must have to, it must be a requirement at some level to have an ego to be able to stick with it that long and have an idea of what sort of musician you are to be able to push through. And then you just put you all in a room. It must be very difficult. I mean, these guys have been doing it for like 40 years, some of the big bands. They must have some
yeah,
magic formula to keep together. Like, we do our recording, we separate, we go on tour, we separate rooms. I don't know, whatever it is.
yeah, yeah. I mean, really, I mean, like I told you, there's a couple like Metallica DVDs out there of them,
Mm,
working on albums and stuff. I mean, they'll have like a whole like they'll all sit down and almost like have these therapy sessions together.
yeah,
And I mean, this is old stuff, but I have to imagine there's a lot of these bands that probably go through that. I mean, I think it helped. Like, I don't know, maybe once they start to taste some form of success, and
yeah,
they realize, okay, we got to do whatever we can to keep this going.
yeah.
And it's just you do. I mean, you do have to have the ego because I mean the music's got to be good. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be good, but
It's got to be good if you're in a band that wants to be commercial. You got to be good in some way.
yeah,
It's a really interesting topic. I think because like it's got to be harder than marriage. Like you first of all you find someone in marriage that you connect with on some level, and 50% of marriages end up in divorce. And in a band, you don't even necessarily have to like each other, but you might really appreciate that person's guitar playing or drum playing, and you could fucking hate each other in some
yeah,
way. And there's like five people, but somehow your music just connects, and you have to make it work. And then, so it's harder than marriage because it's five guys
yeah. I
who
was
don't
about to
even like
say
each other and nothing
you're
in
married
common.
to three other people here.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Like you got to have rehearsal. God, I got to go.
yeah.
Can we catch
Yeah.
up in a couple days?
Yeah, I hope so and so doesn't talk during practice this time and just plays.
That's right. That's right. Cool. Hey,
Yeah.
we'll wrap this one up because I think we had some really awesome stuff. And just like always, I could just keep talking. Particularly like I don't get to talk to a lot of rockers, and rock stuff I think is interesting to me. I think there'd be a ton of stories. I do want to get the links to all that stuff that you're doing, and what I'd like to do is play out something that you've done, either of you actually playing guitar in a band, or play out, and you can tell me actually introduce whatever song you want me to play, having you play out when we eventually cut out. We'll lead out because I don't know if you know Phil Fine. He goes, dude, you have these conversations with people, and like you get me really curious about what they do, and then you never show us what they do. So now I want to show Phil Fine what we do.
Yeah, I mean, you want me to introduce one now? Is
Yeah,
that what you?
introduce one. Like I won't play it out. I won't play it now, but when we do post
So,
production, we'll play it out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think my good friend Shane, who's also part of the TRA, would probably tell me to tell you to play my song Shatter, and it's a prog metal. It's got awesome groove to it, and I really think people will be able to rock out to it pretty
Awesome.
nicely.
Awesome. So that's all that's fantastic. So we'll do that. We'll play it out. I'm listening to hear. I'm interested in hearing some of the stuff that you have. I'm definitely going to listen to Dream Theater afterwards as well because I haven't heard them sort of in a while. Anything you want to plug outside of that. I always want to give people, if you're giving me your time to have a conversation for an hour, I want to give you an opportunity to plug anything. Sometimes it's charity, sometimes it's a community you belong to, could be anything.
Well, we've already talked about the Discord, and I know you'll give the links for that. But you know, I guess I would just maybe not something I'm a part of, but I would just encourage people to embrace AI music. That's going to be my plug. Embrace all this. If you're a doubter, if you're an unbeliever, dude, come talk to me. Come talk to Matt. Come talk to some people that are plugged in with artists who are making some really awesome stuff, and listen to it, and then listen to a song and sit there and tell me that it's not good. That's what I'm gonna plug.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll say thanks for coming heaps. Like I've been wanting to have this full deep conversation for a while, so this is like this is like a bit of a cheat. So I get to have that deep conversation I have, and also it's a bit of content for me at the same time. But it actually forces me to really think about who you are, and I've really appreciated the conversation. We'll definitely talk more as we go on. Now that we're connected, and I'll probably jump onto your Discord for some of those listen parties as well. So why don't you do me a favor and introduce Shatter in a way like some DJ that's just really excited about this song, and then we'll play it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you this prog metal masterpiece. You're gonna be headbanging, and you might just hurt a few brain cells in the process. Here is Shatter by Daywalker.